one of the results of this crisis in Puerto Rico seems to have been, or there seems to be a correlation between the crisis and the immigration of Puerto Ricans to the United States. We can see at the Pew Research Center that last year the amount of Puerto Ricans who left the country passed 30% compared to the previous year. It seems like communities are finding a home in Florida, not only like New York as it used to be before. And yeah, so this mobility of Puerto Ricans looking for jobs and for better opportunities outside of the U.S., how do you think this has affected Puerto Rico and the U.S. too?
The effect on Puerto Rico is devastating. You lose production capacity, you lose part of your tax base, but most importantly, you lose your future, because a lot of people are leaving tend to be younger, and so that's terrible. Let me tell you, I was once asked during my tenure what kept me up at night, and I said our demographics. And at that time, to give you an example, we were losing somewhere between 70 and 100 physicians a year. In 2014, we lost one every day, 365. And in 2015, that number almost doubled. So if I was losing sleep, with a lot less migration of physicians, for example, I can't imagine how people must be feeling right now. During my term, in addition to lowering taxes, to try to, for example, keep physicians in Puerto Rico, and you need physicians to treat people's health. We approved homestead legislation so that they would be able to protect their primary residents from any type of litigation. We also approved partially tort reform so that they will be able to practice their profession, not having to care so much about potential litigation. And so these were some of the measures that we were trying to make. And also we made it a case to deliver to Congress and to the executive branch here, the White House and the Health and Human Services Department. They need to increase funding in Medicare and Medicaid. And actually, that was achieved. In case of Medicaid, we achieved additional funding, but only for a period of time, 9 years. And that will be coming up in about a year and a half. That will expire. And that's a serious problem. I say it's a cliff that's coming up and needs to be addressed also by the executive and legislative branches here.
Part of the previous question, I also asked what impact do you think Puerto Ricans are also having in the United States? We've seen the negative impact for Puerto Rico, of course, because they are leaving the country. But how about maybe positive impacts for the United States of receiving these Puerto Ricans?
Well, Puerto Ricans are American citizens by birth. So that means that we can work in any line of business, whether it's defense related or you name it. By the same token, our license in many professions tend to serve in the rest of the country because we're part of the U.S. The U.S. has a need for bilingual professionals in many areas. And the Hispanic community is 17% of the population, over 55 million strong and growing by leaps and bounds. So in that sense, Puerto Ricans are being able to provide those services in a bilingual way to a lot of people. You're talking about policemen and women, you're talking about physicians, you're talking teachers, you're talking engineers, lawyers, you name it. And I believe in that sense, we've come to fill a gap that perhaps was there to provide better services to that portion of the community that's almost 1/5 of the United States already.